And it says I'm live. Good evening, everybody. Happy Christmas to those that are in, if that's what you're into. Doesn't worry me one bit or the other. Now the kids have flown home. There's only me and the wife, so it's not going to be a very happy Christmas. And there's one or two more in the chat like that, I expect, that are going to be sat there on their own. Thank you for stopping by and looking at my first evening live. Now, how many of you saw Wayne do the big U-Burr bowl on his VB during the summer, where he had a bit of a fight with it, or a lot of a fight with it? Well, I don't know what I'm going to have tonight, because that's a piece of yew, and that's off of the same tree and off of the same log. Whether I can get this in a position where you can actually see all the burring through there. And we've got the pippy edge as well, so it's got a bit of natural edge to it. So it's going to be a bowl. That's going to be the centre. That I will lose because there's not enough there. And there's also, I have noticed, there's a couple of shakes just there and there, only small ones, but I can turn them out on the shape of the bowl. So I'm going to switch cameras and introduce Mark to you at the same time. There he is.
Hi, everyone.
He's going to keep me informed. Hopefully you guys are amused. And I want to be out of this by 5 to 9 tonight, so that we can all chase over and see Steve SK Crafts. He's got a premiere lined up, so I'm going to drop Mark in the background. He's going to chat to me here, and you guys, I'm going to get this set up. You should be able to see what I'm doing. And, over to you, Mark.
Just going to tell you who's in the chat.
Thank you.
So, we've got, no particular order, Barry's Wood Turning, Duncan the Demon Barber, festive greetings from Mike Hugh in Ilminster, Jennifer Strawton.
Hello, Jennifer.
John S., Michael Azapati, Baz from Real Simple Things, Robert Dolman, Spinning Wood Dodger, Terry from TJ Turning, and Tommy's Workshop. That's it so far, I think. Welcome along, everybody.
Let's see if I can get that a bit so you can see.
That's fine,
where the chisel is. That's better. It's buried behind me name. Trying to stall the lathe a bit. This doesn't surprise me. Let's see if I can get a little bit more volume on it.
Mike Hugh from Ilminster says, "Hi Mark, is it true that Cornwall is now in Tier 4 after lots of pirates returned for Christmas and the R rate went up?" Yeah, very funny.
There's been a lot of raping and pillaging down there, Mike. So that's not helped things.
That's just the usual weekend for Cornwall.
Yeah. Normally that's on the south coast. The smugglers come in. God, it's in my bloody ear. It's hard. You can hear it's hard.
Yeah, sounds it.
It's not cutting too bad though.
Remember, folks, if you've got a question for Keith, just start it with a couple of question marks or the word question, just so I can spot it in the chat.
How's the noise, Mark?
It's fine, Keith.
Bearable?
Oh, yeah, it's
Right.
fine.
Good. Right, let me... Normal 1/4 inch bowl gouge with a 45-degree grind on it and a second grind to get rid of some of the heel. All my tools are the same, spindle or bowl gouge. Now, to stop the noise, I'm cutting with the handle down to the floor, basically. So the end of the handle is resting on my leg. So it's a shear cut. So not only am I travelling in at 45 degrees, I'm cutting at 45 degrees onto the top of the blade, if that makes sense. So consequently, we're getting shavings off of it, short curly shavings. And it's also kinder on the motor and the bearings. I could go straight in, but you can hear the difference in noise. Plus it's coming off as dust that way. So my preference is to cut this way. So it's a supported cut. There's the bevel rubbing, just swinging the handle round so that the cutting edge is coming in touch. I'm picking up the cut, you can see it coming off now. So there's centre. So I'm an inch above centre, but it gives me a good position to cut at. And as this is so hard, I'm going to be nibbling it away in shorter sections than trying to get a complete swing cut all the way round in one.
Jennifer's asking, what wood is it, please?
It's yew. It's Pippi yew. Do you remember?
It's Burr yew.
Yeah. Do you remember Wayne having an issue with a hard piece of yew burr that he had on his big VB 36? Well, this is off of the same tree. Part and parcel of that burr. John
John M is in.
So John, See Andrew's in as well.
Yep. Hollywood Shed, Robert Dolman.
Hello, Bob. I've moved things around a fraction, so I've got a little bit more access to the monitor. Right, that's the first blunt chisel. Exactly the same grind. That's the difference it makes. I've got 4 ground up ready. Knowing this would be a bit of an issue. Stop and survey the damage that's been done. There you can see the burr in it now, which is why it's damned hard. Almost a mirror finish on there.
It's a beautiful piece of wood.
Yeah, just a shame the tool work isn't quite as good. It's got to be sanded a bit. Hey ho. Right. Make the bottom a little bit smaller. I'm aiming for sort of a 2¼ to 2½ inch bottom to it. That's where I want to be on the bottom.
Tommy's Workshop says it's a little bit more than pippy, Keith. Lovely piece of timber, though.
Tell him not to be so bloody picky. It is. It's a really nice piece of wood. Forgotten I'd tossed it underneath. It was only when I came out just after dinner. I thought, what am I going to find to turn? I said I'm going to do a bowl. And, oh look, there's a bit of you down there. 8 by 2¼ for you imperialists that need to know. I can see the bottom's dished. It's dished by about 3 mil. I'm not worried about the middle bit. At the moment, I'm going to try and bring that up a fraction. Fraction more. got dividers set up. So left point on, track it with the right, store it with the left. And there's the foot. You can just about see that.
Douglas Mungham's in. Hi, Douglas.
Excuse me, pecking me ear. Trying to get rid of the shavings. Hello, Douglas. I'm going for a mortise on the bottom here.
Ryan at Hardwood Turning's in. Hi, Brian.
Hello, Brian. Welcome all. Thank you all for coming over. You've obviously got all your presents wrapped up ready. Or you haven't bought any. Not sure quite which is the case. I'm putting a mortise on the bottom. That is my homemade mortise re-profile chisel. It's a 5/8 wood chisel. I've ground the back, so the back's at 15-ish degrees to match the jaws that I'm using, which are Axminster F jaws, slightly smaller than the C jaws that Wayne uses, but it's a smaller piece of wood. And I've profiled the front and just taken the top off, a couple of passes with a diamond. So now lift the tool rest. I'm well above halfway. I need to get rid of a wire. It's annoying me. Keeps on attacking my head. Right, that's got it. Well above halfway. I'm just going in. Just about got enough room. One mortise, and I'll put a little bit of decoration in the bottom, mark the centre, put a couple of little beads in it, and that's the job done. So that's a homemade tool. Just knocked the handle off because it was only a silly 6-7 inch handle, and doubled the length. Now I've got enough leverage on there to do the rest. And I was saying to the boys,
Doug Miller's just come in.
Hello, Doug. Saying to the boys yesterday in the chat that if you've got your tail stock up and supporting it because you've had to remount it or it's a little bit well out of kilter, you can't always get straight in. So I've ground this one so that I can get in and still miss the centre. So with the centre there, I can still get in the side and cut the mortise properly. So I've still got some full support with whatever tailstock I use, revolving centre I use. So that again is just, I didn't put a longer handle. That's a 1/2 inch carpenter's wood chisel, an old carbon steel one, no good for anything else. 5-10 minutes on the grinder and you've got yourself a very useful tool.
Douglas Mungham's asking, when you cut that mortise tool, how did you keep the temper in the steel?
Don't get it too hot. 20-30 seconds on the wheel, quench it. As it's carbon steel, you can do. So it's well before high-speed steel. It's not stainless. It's just a normal carbon steel wood chisel. No different to you regrind in a broken wood chisel.
Yeah.
So grind it, quench it, grind it, quench it. Don't get it too hot. Right, I want to. That looks actually quite good. I'm quite impressed with that. I've got a little bit I just need to clean up round here. And the problem is yesterday couldn't get the chisel in, could I? See if I can get that one round there. Might have to do it with two different chisels. Now this is where the released grind on the back comes in handy, because it means I can get it round that corner quicker. Now I'm to the point where I can't move. So I'm going to swap over exactly the same angle of grind, but it's only got a short handle on it. So I can actually get right round there, pick up the cut. This is only a bowl gouge, but it's a 3/8. It will go down there, and it is taking bits off. You can't see them, but I can. Coming off very fine whiskers. Like that. A little bit of a ridge just there, you can see, and a couple on there, but I don't think I'm going to do anything about that because of the hardness of the wood. Now an introduction to some of you Drilly's niece. If it deafens you, sorry. But give this a quick spin.
Karen Dolman's in. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Karen. Surprising how many little ridges was in there that you couldn't see and feel until you actually put the sanding pad on.
Gav Today Woodworks in. Hi, Gav.
That was 80. Quick liquid 120. Finally, 240. To me, looks like there's still a ring in there. There is. Okay. So hard this is. You think you got rid of it all, and then it comes back and shows up again. So I'm back to 80. Briefly. Looks better. Still got a little bit just there.
Jennifer would like to know if that's a converted grinder.
No,
Please.
no, it's an angle drill. All that I've done to convert is to take off the Jacobs chuck and put on a quick release. But just, I've had it 15 odd years. It's a work tool that I needed for drilling between joists. And seeing as that you've only got that much plus the drill, you could get that between a 14-inch joist, whereas a normal drill end on with a drill in there is too long. So I needed to be square for running pipe work through. It's just that it's lasted well because I've looked after it. It's only me that's been using it.
Hodgepodge Woodworks is in. Hi, Hodge.
Hello, Hodge.
Hello, Harry the Beaver.
Not that mad beaver. Hope you fed him tonight, Hodge. You know he gets stroppy if you don't feed him.
Christine and Michael Heseltine are in.
Hello, Christine and Mike. Mikey, how's things today? How did you get on this morning? Or was it yesterday morning? I know it was one of these mornings. You were going to the doctors, the hospital. I'm happy with that. No, I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to use this one. Right. Cellulose sanding sealer.
Hodgepodge says Harry is free range on all the shavings on the shop floor.
Best place for him. Tell him to kick him around so that you've got more to clean up. I had half a sack yesterday off of those 2 bowls that I did. God knows where it come from, but it must have come out those bowls.
Steve from SK Crafts is in. Hi, Steve.
Finish, Steve. Steve, I'm aiming to finish by 5 to 9 at the latest to give you a chance to, or give me a chance to get a beer and go in and watch your premiere. Right, that is really looking good. Look at that. Put the begging notes out soon. That's all I've got. I suppose Glyn's in yet. But it's Yorkshire grit. You can just about see through the crap on the label. Not saying it's old, but it's not a new one. Rub it in with the lathe turned off.
Christine and Michael say more tests in the new year, but it's not angina. They just don't know what the problems are.
Oh, at least they're getting a handle onto it, Christine. Hopefully it won't be too long before you get an answer of sorts. Right, with the lathe on, the lowest it will go, which is about 450, 500. Work the grit in. You can hear it disappearing, feel it being worked in. Increase the volume, get a bit of heat into it now. Right, that's full chat on the range that I've got it on. It's good enough. Find a clean piece of paper. Keep going at it until we get nothing more off. Right, we are clean now. Just want that
Ian
to
Leonard's
cool
in.
down.
Hi, Ian.
Ian, just want that to cool down a fraction. And I've got a little bit of heat in there before we put too much wax on it. Traditional wood wax 22 works for me, so why change it? Now the knack on this is not to put too much on. It's easier to go over it twice, 3 times than what it is to put a layer on there that you can definitely see. And one coat all over. Put the lid on. Warm it up a bit and get it to run in.
Steve would like to know if he can put the link in for his premiere, please.
Yeah, carry on, mate. Yeah, no problem at all. Yeah. Yes, we're all in this together, Steve. So I'm not rubbing it hard. I don't want to take all the wax off that we put on. But, you can see how it's brought up a shine now.
Looking great. Looks really good on camera, mate.
Yes, I can see it today. It does. There's a little bit of purple just there that's not picking up on the camera. But you have to trust me. But this is quite a deep brown burr. And this is a lot lighter. But it is fantastic. As I said yesterday, just get the jaws to touch in there and ease the blank round and gradually tweak the jaws tighter as you do it. All you're doing is cleaning out the crap that might have lodged in the very corner of the mortise. Now I can tighten it up and stand out the way, but that shouldn't go that. Runs too well. I'm going to leave the center on, the ring on, so that if I do get a catch, if it does fly off, I can still remount it. So
Steve would like to know what cameras you're using.
Whatever dial suggested. The one I'm just about to put on is a Ted Gem, but I think there's 2 Ted Gems. Yeah, that's a Ted Gem. Don't ask me what the code number is. Can't bloody see it, Steve. It's too small.
Very clear.
Well, I think I've got the lighting sussed as well now. I've got it moved around a fraction from yesterday. I might have to turn a light on to see inside. Right. Munching this out now. It's too high. You can see how low I set my tool rest. But when I'm cutting, I'm at centre. So many people set the tool rest so that the tool is dead level, and it's uncomfortable. I drop mine down. I mean, that to me that's still fractionally high. And I would set mine there. That's level. There's the centre. That's where I'm going to cut. Those first 2 or 3 cuts, picking up the cut, are the worst ones. You can get a catch there. And there's the insurance. I can still remount it. And there I am, right at centre. I noticed someone the other day, I'm not mentioning any names, but they started at centre, they went right up and they were cutting up here. I can't physically get up that far with the setup I've got. I am going to need to lift the tool rest because of the length of the handle. It's fouling on the bed bars at the moment. But, yeah, they started at centre and accident waiting to happen, I think, but still. As I said before, cut one way. Get down to the bottom of the cut the other way. Don't try and get down and creep back. You'll be cutting the wrong way on the wood. Now I can get rid of my safety device. Today I had 6 screws in it, as it was. They're only inch 8s. I piloted the holes.
Jennifer says she's been told she can watch Wayne tomorrow while himself cooks lunch for them both.
Well, that's jolly civil of him.
I'll make
Does he
sure
know
I
he's
look out for
cooking
you in the
lunch?
chat there, Jennifer.
Right. God, this is dusty. Let's get rid of some of it.
Doug Miller says he needs to go. He'll be watching the rest later. It's a beautiful bowl at this point. Looking forward to see it completed. Thanks, Keith.
There will be a picture up on the website, on my Facebook page, when I've done it. Possibly not today, but certainly tomorrow.
Cheers, then, Doug. Benjamin's in. Hi, Ben.
Hello, Ben. What's your excuse for being late?
I think we could let people off today, says Christmas Eve.
Oh, well, that's okay then. It's just complaining a bit, particularly near the middle here, where it's virtually standing still. You can still see, and so can I now. It's a little bit bleached out, guys. I'm sorry. But it's my safety more than yours at the moment.
Yes, Douglas, it's per you.
Yeah. What that's telling me, that chattering, is that I'm too far away from the wood. So I need to get the tool resting a bit tighter. And that will stop a lot of that noise.
Douglas, if you remember, Wayne the Woodturners turned a large Burr-U Packer earlier in the summer on his VB36. It was really, really hard. This is a piece of the same tree.
I think that's blunted that chisel now. That's 2 down. Can I find the one I just had? Because I can use the other wing.
Mike, the festive greetings from Mike, says, I was taught by 2 instructors always to drill a depth hole first before starting to hollow. Any thoughts?
Yeah, why? Why? On something this wide, you don't need it. If this was a goblet or a vase that was 4, 5, 6 inches deep, yes, I would drill a hole. But there's no point on this. None whatsoever. If I decide that, if I initially wanted to make the walls 1 inch thick and left it 1 inch short or over drilled it 1 inch, I'm setting the parameters before I even start it. Whereas doing it without drilling a hole, there is no parameters. I could run 1 cut across that now and say, that's it, guys, that's the end of the bowl. I'm just going to sand it up. Looks nice, doesn't it? It's a heavy one. So why set parameters before you even get involved in something? That's my thoughts anyway. There's no right way and there's no wrong way. I'm not going to tell you those two instructors were wrong. I'm not going to tell you they're right either, because it's all down to personal preference. This is the bowl gouge that I used on the outside, so I used the left hand wing. I'm now using the right hand wing, so it was blunt, but not blunt enough to need sharpening totally, but it was blunt enough that it needed sharpening to use, if that makes sense. So I can get several passes out of it now before I need to resharpen it. How tight do you want me to go, Steve? I've still got 3/8 of an inch down there.
SK says, go on, Keith, push the boundaries.
I am. I don't see the point in wasting a bit of wood this good. I wouldn't want you to waste a piece of wood like this.
Douglas Mungham saying to me, Mark, that wood is quite rare, isn't it? Yew itself isn't necessarily rare, but Burr yew is a bit special. It's not every day.
No, you don't find it every week.
Yew's quite a well-stabilised wood. Doesn't tend to burr up that often.
Wood is one of the oldest species of woods in the UK. I can't talk as I'm bloody turning because I keep eating it.
Steve says he's got a coin in an envelope ready to send. He'll be okay.
Don't need it, Steve. Don't need it, mate. Don't need it. I've got something better than that. Should I ever get that close? Let me see if I can find it.
Ben's even better. He says he once drilled a depth gauge hole to help him not funnel it. He drilled all the way through, so he basically pre-funneled.
Yeah.
Oh dear, that's funny.
Do you fancy one of these, Steve, in your pocket? Don't know whether it's going to show up. Which one are we on? We're on this one.
Yeah, it's a bit bleached.
Yeah.
Are they makers coins?
No, it's a mirror. It's a little 1-inch diameter mirror. So, if necessary, and I have done it, I've glued one in the bottom before now. I've got some spares. But what are we looking at? We're looking at just a good 1/2 inch. So if I can, I'll leave in the sides. I'm going to pick it up just here and just take a couple of passes across the bottom. He said. Try the small one across the bottom. Look at the difference that makes in noise. Taking all the bounce out of it. Half-inch 5/8 bar. It's twice the size. But it's the same angle of grind. There's no difference between either of them grind-wise. Knocked off the heel as well, so that I can get round corners. Pick up the cut.
I was just going to say, after our conversation previously, Steve, that's a 1/2 inch bar, not a 3/8.
Or whatever it is, it's a record power one. And
Steve knows what I'm talking about.
yeah, I know.
Private joke. Private joke.
But it's not bouncing. It's allowing me to get a reasonable finish. I don't think I'm ever going to get a off with a tool finish in there because of the little pips. I think there's just too many of them. Let's have a mouthful of medicine. Get rid of some of this dust. What we 22 past.
Contact Grassman's in. Hi, Lewis.
Hi, Lewis. The questions have gone quiet at the moment. Has everyone nodded off? 37 of you in there, by the looks of it.
They're all very happy. They're watching the beautiful piece of wood being turned.
It is a nice piece of wood. Right.
Steve
Bit of
Coombs
noise.
is in. Hi, Steve.
Hello, Steve.
How you doing, brother? Designer makes in. He's asking, what do you want for Christmas, Keith?
What's the offering? I'm working on beer at the moment. I've got enough wood.
Yeah. Terry says you want a tin of Yorkshire grit.
Yeah, I need a tin of Yorkie. If you know anyone or where it comes from, apart from Yorkshire. Sander doesn't want to cut very well in the middle there.
Douglas Mungham's got a question. I'm not sure I understand. He says he has a technical question. He has some gouges that look like bowl gouges, but the flutes are the same depth, but the wings are very slightly wider. Is this a problem?
Yes.
I would say I'd say they're spindle gouges, aren't they?
They're continental spindle gouges,
yeah,
which are almost flat. I don't think I've got one in here. I've got one in the other box. Oh, no, I'm almost certain, Douglas, that'll be a continental gouge. Nothing wrong with them. Most of them would have been carbon steel. Although they still make them, so depending on the age, if it's got rust on it, it's carbon steel. If it hasn't got rust on it, it's stainless, HSS. Treat them exactly the same as you would a conventional bowl gouge, spindle gouge. roll the wings back a fraction, not too deep. So I've got 2 or 3, but then I'll kick them in the other shed out the way because I don't tend to use them because I use them for pens.
He says not flat, deep flute, but different wing depth. Different wing width.
Don't know.
They do sound like continental grind gouges. I would suggest they're probably spindle gouges, not bowl gouges.
A lot of the continental stuff was made in a lot heavier steel, so it would have been a forged bar, so it would have been something like an 1.5 inch wide bar that had just been slightly hollowed. I've got to attack the outside here. I've still got a bit of saw on there, but we can do that in a minute. That's almost got rid of those marks. So hard, this U, that the power sander didn't want to know. It was just skipping over it. Decent bit of 80 grit on there. Got rid of those scuff marks. Right, let's attack this edge. Where is it? It's a little bit just there. You can see it's rough across there. You can see the saw cuts in it still. Let's get rid of them. It's blunt.
Upper please.
Right. It's not bad an hour, get that turned. And 95% sanded. Right, it's just a little bit there. Got to be very careful coming off the cut there, finishing that cut. I don't want to break it and chip it out. That's better. That's got it all. Which you can so easily do on a wood like this. You don't realise that it's so brittle that it just falls off.
Question from Benjamin. Bit of a risky question, as I suspect I know the answer. But what's Keith's thoughts on negative rake scrapers?
Use them. I've got no issues with them. What should I have said, Ben?
If you'd asked me, Ben.
They've got their good points. They've got, I'm not saying they've got any bad points. Haven't used enough of them.
I love mine. Absolutely love them.
He takes it to bed with him.
I do. Sleeps on the pillow next to me.
Yeah.
Especially the one I made myself.
Right.
Took me back to my old knife making days. Making a blade.
Right, that was 80. Going straight on to 120. That's in better days. 240. That's 120. No point in forcing abrasive to cut, because you'll end up with the outside or the wood looking like a 78 record. Someone's posted one on one of the Facebook pages today, and you can see what they've done. I'm sorely tempted to say to them quietly, you really need to throw your paper away before you just got down to the backing, because that's what it looks like. There's no cut on it. They forced it, and it spoilt what was a nice little pot. You've got to look close. So that's probably where my judging days came in. I look close at things.
Ben says he was expecting you to say, just tilt the normal scraper.
Doesn't work the same. Quite.
Doesn't give the same cut.
No. Yes, you can tilt it, but rather than what you're trying to say, Ben, is lift the handle on a traditional scraper so that you're reducing the angle instead of hitting it square. If you
reduces the risk of a catch.
Yeah, but if you turn that scraper onto its side by about 30 degrees, like that, as well as lift it, so it's in a much safer position. As soon as you put it in square, you can see what happens. It forces the paper down. If you put it in at an angle, you're using it as a shear scrape then. Much safer. I very rare will go straight in with a scraper. 9 times out of 10, I'll turn it on its side and shear scrape it. If I use a scraper, and I don't confess to using that many scrapers. I prefer to get the finish off with a tool. I think we've got the finish off the tool now. Don't do anything about that. That's ingrowing. Just going to hold a bit of 80 against the edge, because that edge is a bit like a razor blade. We try and perfect a decent edge, and then we take it off. That's better. Let's get rid of some of this dust. Have a quick shake. Chestnut again. Cellulose sanding sealer. Quick wipe to get the excess off. Leave it to fully flash off. Look at that. Last bit. Just going to have enough to do this. Where's Glyn when you want him?
What you should be asking, Keith, is have you ever seen Glyn and Father Christmas in the same room at the same time? Because he could be busy elsewhere tonight.
He could Just be. Saying. Could be. Can you see that happening, though? Right.
Don't know.
After last night's sleeping session. Right, lathe on slow. Start to work it in. Same piece of paper I put it on with.
Tommy's Workshop says, Keith, I refurbished vending machines for 4 years. If you're thinking the abrasive needs changing, it's already buggered.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
but
the same rule with
I wasn't thinking. I could see that it needed changing because it
same
looked
rule
like
with
it was a 78 record.
same rule with a gouge. If you
Yep.
think it's blunt, too late. It already is. It probably has been for a few minutes.
Well, you saw how what the difference it made when I changed gouges a little while ago.
Douglas
I could
Mangum says,
feel it wasn't cutting as it should do. So change it there and then.
Douglas Mangum says, Keith, I can see the extractor is working, but can't hear it. It's because
Good.
yours is outside, isn't it?
No, the extractor's down along from the lathe.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's 3 foot. It's 3 foot along from there, but it's a hydroponics fan.
And you've got a good noise cancelling headset on.
Yes, as well. That makes half the difference, or most of the difference. It's loud, but it's not loud. It's not loud enough to stop me hearing Mark in the background chatting away. I mean, I don't know what this one will sound like. Can you hear that one?
Just heard it start.
Yeah. Well, that's the big 4-inch proper wood turners dust extractor. Well, that's outside in next door in the garage. Got it ducted out. Right, that's come off clean. Just want to let that cool down a fraction, because you don't want to be putting wax onto that hotter wood. I don't know why, but I'm told that's wax on that one. It's better to let the wood cool down a fraction. You don't want to get wood too hot anyway, particularly you, because it'll just shake, heat shake on you. It's notorious for it. And I've seen competition pieces at club where they bought them in, really proud of them. You look at them and you look at all the little heat shakes in it. You've got to mark them down. And they say, well, what's wrong with it? Well, the finishing. But it's a mirror-like finish on it. Yeah. But that mirror-like finish has got lots of little shakes in it. Oh, that's the wood. It is. It's only the wood now because you got it so hot. Oh, didn't know that. So, use one of the worst ones.
Didn't want that piece.
I just grabbed it because it was a little bit of wax on it still. You see the shine on that now?
Yeah, cool.
I can anyway.
Yeah, you can.
What I would do would be to give this a coat of microcrystalline. Possibly not tomorrow, but I'll take it in and give it a coat of microcrystalline before it goes up for sale. Let's come back to this one. Oh, camera. That one. Yes. It's my bald head. Take my glasses off. Oh!
Benjamin says, I think you should have coloured it. Not.
If you were closer, you might end up wearing this, Ben.
That's gorgeous. Bring it
Trying
back
to get
towards
it
you a
in,
little bit. That's better.
trying to get it in the best light so that you can see the grain all the way around it, the pips all the way around it. That's the shape. If I hold it up against the door, you can see the shape of it. So what that does, that lifts it off of the table,
Yeah.
off of the bench.
That's properly gorgeous.
And the one that we did yesterday, which isn't totally finished, but I can show you the difference it makes.
Yeah.
Hold it against there. Look how squat and dog bowl that looks.
Sits heavy, doesn't it?
Yes. Yeah. That looks quite delicate. All right, it's 2 inches bigger. Barely. But I very rare do that shape of bowl. I put 2 together yesterday. I did one this shape and one dog bowl shape, just to show people it was both the same bit of wood, so both the grain were the same. It had a nice bit of grain to it. Yeah, you can see it there. Both bits of yew. How I work out which way I'm going to turn it. But this one was a no-brainer.
Gorgeous.
These are good, but so there you go, guys. I'm good to stand here for another couple of minutes if you've got any questions you want.
Lots of really nice comments.
Thank
Stunning.
you, guys.
Very nice. One nice bowl. Beautiful bowl, Keith. Excellently executed. Nice bit of wood. Not too shabby. A bit of turning. Very nice. Lovely bowl. Really nice piece. Lovely wood. Great job. Does Mother Nature give us some wonderful wood to play with, or what?
Yes. Yeah.
Merry Christmas from Barry.
Cheers, Baz. And the same to you.
Mark Lawrence says awesome.
Good. So all I would say, guys, is can you make sure you hit the thumbs up for me, please? And you're all subscribed to my channel.
Steve says not bad for an old boy. Yeah,
I know. 71 next year, Steve. Mere child, you. Have you got your nappy to change yet? Or are you just out of nappies? Good job we're all in the same group, innit? And we know what we're talking about. We take the pee out of each other and laugh about it. So, anyway, guys, a very happy Christmas to you. And let's hope for a prosperous new year, that we can do a few craft fairs and sell a few pieces. If any of you are down West Sussex way, let me know before you come down and see if we can meet up somewhere. I demonstrate down at Amberley Museum. I can always make sure that I'm on duty that day if you're coming down. I'd welcome to see some of you face to face. I've met some of you. Not sure whether I should be at Makers, but I'm sort of aiming for it. But watch this space. We don't know whether Makers is actually going. But I'm going to race in a minute to get set up, get a beer poured, and I can watch Steve. So you all need to head over to SK Crafts for his premiere. Probably going to be rubbish, but go over and tick the bucket.
You did deserve that, Steve.
We do chat to each other off screen as well. But I'm here for anyone. If anyone's got a bit of an issue, bit of a question,
Hi, Door 60.
pump it over to me. don't have to. If you feel embarrassed asking it in front of a crowd, message me.
Keith is a wealth of knowledge. Behind the scenes, he's given me a lot of advice. He's always offered his opinions on pieces I've posted, and I've subsequently changed them for the better. So I'm very grateful for Keith's help.
Cheers, Mark. I am one of those that will give an opinion, but I will give an opinion with a reason. I won't just turn around and say, "Oh, that's bloody ugly." You can't do that. There's got to be a reason why it's ugly or why you can't do it. And that's what everyone wants to know. That's how you get better. It's no good me turning around to Mark each time and saying, "Oh, you can't do that, Mark. Oh, don't do that, Mark. Oh, that's bloody ugly, Mark."
Hey,
yeah, but
why? Less of the each time, you cheeky kid.
You were a bit slow there.
You've already questioned 2 of my pieces, thank you. Cheeky bugger.
Yeah, there you go. Christine and Michael. Christine, say happy Christmas to the old bugger. Hopefully I'll get down to see you both in the new year when we're allowed out, and hopefully they can, the hospital can sort out his issues.
Keith, can you just show the poll again? Because Spinning with Dodger's internet went down and he didn't see the end.
No, he went to sleep. That's what the problem was. We know what it was.
Show it face on.
That's the profile of it. It's getting it so that the light doesn't catch it, but
that's cool. Just bring it up closer to the camera. Bit more. Keep going. Stop.
The lights catch it if I'm not careful. I need to turn it like that, and you can see it. But there's some fantastic grain in there.
Yeah.
And on the outside, you can see why Wayne had a little bit of an issue turning that. That was 22 inches, I think. Mind you, having said that, I've got a 22-inch bit on the floor there, but it's basically straight grained you. So, if there's no more questions, guys, head on over to SK Crafts. Make sure you take a drink with you, because you'll need one to drown your sorrows. And,
oh dear.
Yeah.
Dear Lord.
It's that time of year, isn't it? No, that time of year is anyway. Why should I worry?
I better go downstairs and get a beer.
Yeah, I'm going to grab one as soon as I go in after I've been in the loo. So I'm going to sign off, guys. Thank you, Mark. Happy Christmas to you, as much as you like Christmas.
Yeah.
Happy Christmas to everyone else. I'm not a big Christmas person, but it's that time of year.
Tomorrow, everybody, enjoy yourselves.
Yeah, enjoy yourselves as best you can in the world that we are at the moment. So I'm going to hit the button. Happy Christmas, everyone. See if you can sort of stop soberish tomorrow so that you can remember what's going on. And I will see you possibly next week. I'm not sure yet which day, which time it will be, but it could be a lunchtime. It could be another infill of an evening. Watch this space. I'll put it up on the media and we'll go from there. But thanks for your participation tonight, guys. Happy Christmas to you. Bye-bye for now.
Bye, everybody.